One morning, I stood in front of our team, my platoon, and I said, I want all of my leaders, all of my older guys on the team. I want all of you to know every single person on our team. I need you to know their first and last name, and I need you to know where they are from. I need you to know their hometown or high school. I need you to know that. I'm gonna give you 2 weeks to learn it, and then come back, and I need you to know everybody on the team. Why did I do that? Because I knew that it would force communications that were outside of their regularly scheduled programming. I knew that it would require intentionality for them to communicate and connect with one another in a way that they hadn't ever done before. So they all said to me, sir, no problem. We know our guys. We know our team. This is easy. So I said, okay, we got 2 weeks. In the same amount of time, I was to do the same thing. So within that 2 weeks, I set up 15-minute meetings with every single person on our team. And we talked about where they were from. We talked about their family. We talked about their experiences, what brought them to the Army in the first place. I got to know my team. And I committed myself to working on remembering first and last and hometowns, not because of the information, but because of the impact. When you know something about the people that you work with, it means something to them. The Bible says to know them that labor among you. You got to know the people who work with you. People's hands work much better when their heart is in it. The hands work much better when the heart is in it. And your heart is in places that you've made connections. So when people have connected with you, they now don't just put their heart into what they're doing, but they put it into who they're doing it with. 2 weeks had gone by, and I'm standing in front of our platoon, exactly 2 weeks from the date that they all told me that it was a breeze. So I stood in front of the platoon and I called out some of my senior leaders. And I said, who is this? And I would point to one of our people on the team. They said, oh, well, sir, that's Private First Class. That's Melina. I was like, okay, well, what's Melina's first name? And they can't tell me. Okay, no problem. Well, can you at least tell me where he's from? Can't tell me. Okay, no sweat. Let me just go to the next person. All right. Hey, Sergeant Torres, who is this? Oh, well, that's Private Brown. Well, what's Private Brown's first name? Can't tell me. Where is he from? Can you at least tell me where he's from? Can't tell me. So I quickly saw where this was going. So I didn't do any more asking, and I just started to name every person on the team, first and last name, and where they were from. It's about like 30 or so, a little bit over 30, couldn't have been more than 40 people, all right, including myself. So I named first, last name, and where they're from, and we waited till I got through everybody, and then I sent them home to get cleaned up and show up for work. The only thing that did right there in the moment was it allowed me to kind of showboat a little bit. You know what? You guys didn't get it done. You guys said that it was going to be easy. Here I am, a brand new person that came in, and I was able to get this done. Why? Because it matters. If it matters to you, you'll put forth the effort necessary to do it. So a few weeks had gone by. There was a particular person on my team who wasn't showing up for work, or if he did, it would be late. And we were just having a lot of disciplinary issues with this guy, which was unique because up until then, he hadn't been exhibiting this kind of behavior. So I was asking some of my leaders, hey, what's going on with this guy? Does anybody know what's up with him? And they wrote him off. They said, you know what, sir? He's just messing up. He doesn't want to be in the Army. We should just write him up and get him out. So I listened for a little while, and then I said, okay, well, the next time I see him, I'm going to talk to him. So I pulled him to the side. It's just me and him. I asked him, I said, hey, Jackson, what's going on? You're not showing up to work, and when you do, it's late. What's going on? He didn't say anything immediately because as soon as I asked that question, he broke down and started crying. And he said, sir, 2 weeks ago, my wife, who lives in Atlanta, just had our firstborn son. And I drove from El Paso to Atlanta, left my car in Atlanta with my wife, and I only had enough money to fly back to El Paso, and I don't have a way to get to work. Nobody knows that I don't have a way to get to work, and nobody had even known on our team, none of my leaders, nobody, not even myself, had known that this young man who's not making a lot of money and who's in dire straits just flew to Atlanta to see his son, spend a little time with his wife, and come back. Nobody knew. Nobody knew. This is what he says to me. He said, "Sir," because I asked him, I said, why haven't you said anything? He said, "Sir, the coolest thing I had ever seen is when you stood in front of our platoon and you said everybody's first and last name. It was at that moment that I knew you cared about us. So I can trust that when I'm telling you this, that you're not going to beat me up over it, but I can actually communicate with you."